Hey everyone, and welcome to Comic Breakdown. If you're new to the page, please be sure to hit that subscribe button so you're not missing any of the content we have coming out, and be sure to like this video. And today we're going to be diving into X-Men 10 of Swords STASIS. This is part 11 of 22. So this brings us to the halfway mark for 10 of Swords. Now before we dive into this, I do want to say thank you to everybody that has subscribed, that's helped make this channel grow. We've just surpassed 1,000 subscribers. So thank you guys so very much for helping make this become a reality and helping me further my goals while also entertaining you guys at the same time. And one last thing, for those that have been following my channel, I do indie comics every weekend, so be sure to check that out. I have tons of indie comics that are available on my page right now. I will not be covering indie comics this weekend because I am going to be moving 2,000 miles away. So it is going to take me pretty much the whole weekend to be able to get across the United States. But I will be sure to be back in time to make sure that we cover the DC and Marvel lines next week. So without further ado, let's dive into this issue. So this issue dives us in with some emissaries going around to all the worlds of Otherworld, all the kingdoms, and it's giving them an invitation from Saturnine. And what we see here is everyone gathered to cast a vote. And the vote was to have open border movements. And this vote was requested by Blightspoke, or aka Sheriff Whitechapel. But also invited to this, we see Famine and Pestilence. And they're kind of new to this whole thing because they did take over Dryador. But they let everybody know real quick that they're not representatives of Dryador. Like, they killed Dryador. Everything that was Dryador is no longer. And it all now belongs to Ameth. And they claim it in the name of Ameth. And it belongs to Arako. And this is where she asked them if they have all their swords. And they reply with, yes, we have all our swords and our 10 hungriest fighters ready to fight. And King Jaime lets Saturnine know that the warriors are going to be on their way soon. And from here they sit and watch. Sit and watch as the mutants perform their ritual that will bring the champions to Otherworld, to the Citadel. And this is where we pick up on Krakoa, with Apocalypse and our 9 other heroes, all ready to do battle, all having their swords wielded, ready for this fight. And we see Apocalypse give a speech here that's just pretty much saying, like, you are doing this not for some glory or anything of that nature. Like, this is for all of us. And if you die, you're never going to return. So when you fight, when you go to draw your sword, don't fight like a human, fight like a mutant. You stand to lose immortality if we do not overcome this. You'll be the first immortals that Apocalypse has watched die. And then we're given some really, really awesome artwork here, and it's kind of a mirroring situation. We're kind of given an idea of who's going to be going against who. And so they bring us to the last watchtower, 3 days prior. And really what they're showing us here is the summoner and everybody else getting their swords. And so they all spread out to not only find the swords, but also the other fighters. You know, we see them go get Pog. Pretty much bribe him with as much fortune as he could possibly want, if they could count on him to fight for them. We see him go to Bay the Blood Moon, and almost instantly he's just like, yeah, like, I'm down for it. Like, you said there's a battle, there's combat. Like, I'm totally in the mood to kill some men right now, so let's go. We see him go to Purity, waving the white flag, and honestly, he's loving this. You know, he carries the white sword, so they need him for this fight. And he just grovels in this. He's like, you know, I just want to hear you beg. Just let me hear it one time. Beg that you want me to come fight for you. And the reply is, we don't beg. And he laughs at them, you know, he's much older than them. He saw them literally birthed. So for them to say, you know, we don't beg, he just laughs at that notion because he saw them at their weakest. And they pretty much tell him, like, if we win, whatever you want is yours. Anything you could possibly want. Anything. All you have to do is ask, and it's yours. So we can only imagine what he's going to be asking for. They get Iska the Unbeaten. They get the Black Bone Sword. They're just going through this, building up their team. And by all accounts, they're ready to bring some death. This is where we pick back up at the Starlight Citadel, and we have the arrival of our champions. And as they come through the portal, everybody's ready to fight. Like, everybody's on guard, not really knowing what's going to happen. Everybody assumed that as soon as they portaled to the Starlight Citadel, that it would be all-out war. But that's not the case. And what we see is Saturn 9 come in and just be her regular, mean self. Just telling Betsy how she doesn't like her and wants her to, shut her mouth. And she pretty much lets them know, like, quarters have been prepared for you guys. You guys have chambers set up, go freshen up before we have the feast in the Hall of Fallen Banners. Because that's where you're going to meet your fellow combatants. So this is almost looking like a game to her. Like, she's been playing a top view chess game, if you will. And it's just something that nobody else can see. And so as our champions go into their room, each of them has a tarot card laying on their bed. Each one signifying something. And upon Apocalypse looking at his card, he crushes it instantly. And he's just like, this game no longer suits me. Like, I am done. Whatever game she is at, I am tired of playing it. And so he goes up to her, and she kind of gets attitude with him, and he's like, yeah, I dare. Like, I dare do it. What is this nonsense of you putting these tarot cards in my room? Like, what is your game plan here? And she really tries to play it off like, hey, it's just a card, Apocalypse. Like, you need to chill the heck out. Like, why are you getting so upset? And so they start to walk and talk. And she's telling Apocalypse, like, you're really acting out of character. For how old you are, for how long you've existed, how can you not have patience? And as they descend into this elevator, he asks where they are. And she tells him, like, I had to go to another meeting, and you were so persistent on trying to talk to me, I thought you could accompany me to my next appointment. And considering the card that you have, I thought you might be interested. And then we see Annihilation. And Apocalypse says that he's seen that every night for thousands of years. In his dreams, in his nightmares, it has literally haunted him. For so long he's wanted to kill the one behind the mask. And now he sees that it is the one and only Genesis, his wife. And he proclaims, how? Like, tell me how. And she simply answers, you know the answer. Survival of the fittest. That has always been the answer. And that will be where this issue ends. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. We have not gotten a lot of information on Genesis, and I've been predicting for a little bit here that it was, Annihilation was going to be Genesis. It only made sense for that to be the outcome here. So I'm not surprised in that aspect at all. And I'm actually really excited about it. From everything we've seen so far, Genesis and Apocalypse's children are all stronger than Apocalypse. And Apocalypse is stronger than majority of our mutants that are fighting in this tournament. So I'm really interested to see how this goes. And then after looking at the diagram of who's going to be going against who, these fights are going to be really interesting. We're going to see Apocalypse versus Pog. We're going to see, Summoner versus Cable. We're going to see Purity versus Cypher. Like, these are going to be really awesome matches, and I cannot wait to dive into it. All in all, I have to say this comic was relatively good. These last 11 issues have really been building the playing field, but this is us finally getting there. All our champions, all our contestants have their swords. Everybody's here. Now it's just a matter of them meeting at this banquet, and then whatever Saturn 9's plans are for where they're going to be dueling. So yeah, if you guys have not yet, please be sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video if you like the content that we have coming out. Be sure to tell me your thoughts down in the comment section, and until the next video.